Oh,
It's real, Dylan.
that's robot stuff right there.
Yeah, no, I had AI do that actually years
Nice.
ago. So yeah, that's just normal for me now. I'm ready to I'm ready for it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you were on the cutting edge years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, I mean, I invested in AI and it's been paying off so far. Some people like it, some people hate it. The fact is I own 4 houses in the metaverse and
Mm.
I'm collapsing within the debt that I've accumulated so far. So,
Well, that's gonna pay off eventually for
right.
sure. The
Looking at you,
metaverse,
Zuck.
yeah.
We'll see.
So
But
Zuck off. I mean, or whatever.
Dylan, pleasure to have you on here, sir.
Thanks for
Um,
having me.
because I've been wanting to have you on for a bit, to talk about the metaverse and whatnot. Maybe
Yeah,
some music if we have the chance. But yeah, super
those are the
stoked.
things I'm interested in talking about for sure.
AI and
Zuckerberg, Elon, AI.
mm, no,
Although
no,
AI is actually really fascinating.
I I don't know. People are talking about this chat, CBD or whatever the heck it is.
Dude, that would be sick. AI weed.
Yeah,
You just type up like weed that my dad smoked in the 70s, and then like you get really bad brown weed,
right.
3D printed.
Some swag skunk stuff.
Swag.
Yeah, yeah.
Great word.
Some swag weed. Um, I just remember when I was a kid, weed was still like really, hey, don't ever do weed.
Mm,
It's really, really bad. It's a drug. It's the same as like any harder drugs. Don't ever do it. And then just one day they're like, nah, it's cool. Kind
yeah.
of. I don't know.
Probably
I
earlier on for you because you're from California, right?
right, but I'm not fucking from Colorado. It wasn't just cool whenever. And then
Sure.
before that, like Amsterdam or something. I don't
Which would
know.
be tight.
That would be sick. Yeah.
No, for me, like where I'm from, it's still hella illegal. And so there's always this ingrained, like you could be like at a store that sells weed and also you're allowed to smoke weed. And if someone says my name, I just like hide the weed.
Yeah, you gotta
It's ingrained, like
you gotta
this is
throw it.
bad.
Were you a big weed smoker as a kid?
Yes, as a small child. That's why all of the problems I have now as an adult are due to the fact that I just froze my brain with marijuana and
You
crystallized in as a child.
right, you
Uh,
fried it. You fried your
fried
brain.
up like
Kids,
an
this is
egg.
this is an example. This is why you don't do it right
Yeah.
here.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, no, I did. I do have like a really shit memory. Can we swear? You do
You
swears?
can say whatever the heck you want. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so man, train of thought, weed, right? Am I right? No, I
Above
started
the
thinking
influence, kids. This who sponsors this podcast.
yeah,
Got I'm gonna put in the little arrow with the circle around it.
that's good.
Yeah.
You're doing God's work out here.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep kids away from drugs or off of them, not or on them. I don't know. Off of the idea of doing them. I can't
But
stop them though.
no, it's good. If I don't I may have ADHD, I don't know. But yeah, so I have a shit memory. I'm around people who have great memories, like Josh. You spoke with him. You ask him about a date, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, it was like November 4th. Like it was a summer's day," which isn't true. But you know what I mean? Like he just knows like, the exact thing that happened on the exact date. I can't do that. People will be like, "Oh, when did that record come out?" And I'd be like, "Date? I don't know." And I think that's due to long-term marijuana usage. It's where I'm going with all that.
Maybe,
You know what I
or
mean?
it might be CBD. Who knows? Who knows the effects of
CBD.
CBD? They always prescribe it and stuff, and that's so good. We'll see.
Are you a toker? Are you a midnight joker or whatever?
Um, I'm would be like Steve Miller's like bassist, like kind of around it, but not doing it. Just, I couldn't get into it really. So
I fell off the wagon. But well, I guess the point I was trying to make, because you were saying that you like growing up, it went from like not okay to okay.
yeah,
Like, well, California, it's like that must be so interesting because it's like this is where weed is from. This is Weedville. Whereas where I'm from in Kentucky, it's like there are still counties that are dry, like there's no alcohol. So weed is like, you know, I mean, meth
Meth is
and
cool.
opiates, those are chill, but weed, not so,
Some of that's
chill.
prescribed, but you
Most
better
of
get out of here with that fucking
it.
weed
Yeah.
shit. Not around here.
Yeah, no, but you got hair on. Give me some of that. My doctor said it's okay. Like, no, it's not. It's bad. No, we won't get into the opiate crisis.
Yeah, that's next time.
Yeah, that's the next episode.
Yeah, and we're gonna get deep into it. We got I'm actually doing a dissertation right now, which will probably be out before we do it, so I will be referencing that a lot. So
Do you think dissertation is like when you like dis
it should be
like
called that.
I'm a dissertation, you like serve up like a nice dis but like formal, you
Right,
know?
right, like maybe in writing or something, something like a formal format. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that they should change the terms.
I do too.
I think it would help a lot of people.
I didn't go to college, so that's how I think about words.
Now,
You
did
say
you?
dissertation, and I'm like, oh, that's a formal way to say fuck you.
Yeah, that's it's a very the most polite way.
Mhm.
Now you said you didn't go to college.
No,
You didn't go, but
me no school.
no, that's it. High school, and then
Went to high school.
yeah, and but then that was it. You're like, all right, I'm over this.
Yeah, I moved out of my parents' house when I just turned 18.
Classic weed move. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, right. I was
Right.
like, fuck y'all. No. So then I moved into like a punk house. So I lived in like a small town outside of a bigger city called Lexington, Kentucky. And it was about an hour away from Lexington. So I was still going to high school in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, but I was living at like a punk house with like a bunch of like 30-year-olds, like DIY garbage can eating motherfuckers. Yeah, so that was my whole senior year, was like, why am I even pretending to be like to care about school? But I knew I had to graduate, so
That's wild. Now, why didn't you say just because you need that freedom? You needed to smoke weed in peace.
why did I leave my
Yeah,
house?
yeah, yeah.
My mom's husband was a raging alcoholic, and it was so chill. Too
Yeah.
chill for me.
You're
It's
like,
like, you
whoa.
guys are so peaceful and harmonious that I don't want to hang out anymore.
You said, hey, I need to button it up. I need to get out of here. I
Yeah,
need to
I need
focus
a
on
little
my
more
studies.
chaos in my life.
Right. This is too normie-ish.
Yeah, totally.
At 18, so were you halfway through the school year, or what was the duration of going to school while living at the punk house?
That's a good question. That's a date.
Let's get
So
Josh in here.
yeah, hey Josh.
Yeah, let's yeah.
Oh dude, it was the summer. No, it must have been like halfway through. My birthday's in December.
Okay.
So probably wasn't long after that. And then what, you graduate in August or something? So like, let's say
Is it August?
January through August, maybe.
Okay. All right.
A great story of that was, so I moved out with my girlfriend at the time. We
Oh,
both moved out of our parents' house. We were like, because she was a year older than me. So she was actually like, that, her parents were cool. Like, yeah, go ahead. You're
dang, you're dating the older chick in high school? Oh man, dude.
always, baby.
That's a sick move. It's a sick move.
So yeah, well, another interesting part of that was she worked at Burger King in that small town. So while I was going to high school, she would drive to Burger King, and then we would like, I'd get out of school, she'd be done with Burger King, we'd go back to Lexington and dumpster dive for the rest of the week or whatever. But what was the other thing I was talking about? Freaking
School.
school.
Moving out with
Oh,
your
right.
girlfriend.
So we lived together in that house. And so like eventually I was like, man, I just don't want to go to school today or whatever. So she would call in like she was my mom and like like tell them I'm sick or whatever and I can't come to school. And then somehow like my mom found out, like my actual mom found out that that's what was going on, and that was a whole thing.
A whole discussion.
The whole discussion. Her and my girlfriend at the time were just like
Fi-
arguing over the phone.
Fighting,
It's like,
fighting
this is
over who gets to call the school about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Who is my parental guardian now?
Yeah, who's going into the meeting, because somebody's got to show up. Either way, it doesn't care. It doesn't
Right.
matter who's coming in. Yeah, that's so you were a school ditcher, a weed smoker.
Mm, all of that. Just a good kid, just a
Just
good
to,
old
just
fashioned good. Now you can see, well, I mentioned that I almost joined the Navy.
yeah,
That was like during that time. It was like, all right, you're either gonna like stay at your parents, be like your stepdad at the time, who was a military dude and was like totally into it. Like, yeah, you should go to the Navy. They you know, really, you'll travel, you'll do all this stuff,
you'll
whatever.
see the world.
You'll see the world, you know, their whole slogan,
Yeah, no, it
slogan
sounds good.
heroes.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, and then I was like, finally, I think I figured out like that's probably not the move. So then I went just full 180 and was like, I'm moving out. I'm not, I'm barely gonna finish high school and I'm definitely not gonna join the military. In fact, I'm not even gonna go to college. I'm just gonna be a little dirty punk kid for a while.
you're gonna be
And
a
it
cool
worked
guy.
out. I'll tell you why it worked out. Years later, when I lived in Indiana, all of the friends that were also joining the Navy at the time, they all went AWOL and came and stayed with me.
So
Which I
you're
don't know if you know
housing
the
deserters.
whole
You're housing
AWOL
deserters. Yeah.
situation. Yeah, exactly. They were like, we hate this. We're not cut out for this. We don't know anyone. Can we come live with you? Because the Navy sucks. So they lived with me for like a month.
And then did anybody go back, or
That's a
were
good
they
question.
caught?
Never really kept up with them.
You're living with these guys. Hey,
Yeah.
where's that dude? Oh, he went back. They caught him. Okay.
Oh, dude, and here's the best is like, speaking of like weed, like one of the dudes was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a job, I'll help you out with rent, because I had like 4 people staying in this like 2-bedroom apartment. One of the dudes was like, I am a bong enthusiast. I have all of the bongs and all of the bowls and I love weed, and so if you let me crash, I'll just smoke you out just forever. You're just forever high. And so that was our arrangement. So I would come home from work and like there'd be like a bong as tall as me just waiting.
Just waiting to be sparked up.
Spark it up.
Just waiting to be inhaled.
Yeah. just waiting to get sucked on.
It's just looking at you.
It was so boisterous too. It was like it seriously was like a cauldron that you would partake with.
Now, what was he? Was he selling dope as well?
I don't think so. He just had a good supply.
He knew who to ask. He knew whoever was in the Navy that was shipping him back.
Yeah. I think they left all the way from like Florida or something and came up to Indiana. They were like for real AWOL.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's dedication. And then you just didn't know what happened to him at all.
No, I didn't follow up. They moved out. Yeah, I'm bad like that. Well, you're in, you're out.
One day I'm getting smoked out. The next day I'm sober.
You don't
And
live
it's
here
like,
anymore.
what the heck is going on? Where's that guy with all that weed?
Honestly, something probably really like gnarly happened, but I was just smoking so much weed that I
Yeah,
don't remember it at all.
you're just inhaling. That really sucks, Ben. And
Yeah.
then that's it. Just memories fly out.
Yeah.
So how did you get from Kentucky to Indiana? What was the trajectory there? How did you wind up housing AWOL people and whatnot and smoking weed?
That's an interesting story because
I Dylan, real quick, I knew it would be. I just felt it. I felt
Yeah.
like this is gonna be an interesting story.
Yeah,
It was just,
you know what's up.
I know.
You're like, wait a second, you're like little breadcrumb guy, you know?
Hey, hold on a minute. Hold on.
Pick up
Because
those
Josh
breadcrumbs.
said July 9th,
Yeah.
2011. I'm figuring it out. I got a whole
Yeah. Are you a date guy, by the way? Can you remember dates and stuff like that really well?
now that I've done the podcast,
Mm.
like if somebody will bring up something
Mhm.
that has happened, I'll be like, oh yeah, that was around this time. This week was when that happened because I was working on this. So as of the past 2 years, if somebody says, oh, remember that day? I go, yeah, because that's the day that this such and such came out, or so and so came out, or I was working on questions. Yeah,
So it's like a tool almost. Like you can use it as a memory tool. Like,
it is.
yeah, I talked to Ozzy Osbourne,
Yeah.
so yeah, I
He's
remember those.
next week. Stay tuned. No,
Hell
no.
yeah.
Um,
No, that's tight though. That makes sense
Jack's
because I
coming
can do
on.
that with music.
Okay.
You know, like I can
Yeah.
remember something based on like a song that was playing or a sound that was happening.
You associate memories with music, like, oh, I remember this when this was playing, or something like
Totally.
that?
Totally.
Is there one that comes to mind that you're like, yeah, I remember that. I remember being there when I heard this song for whatever reason.
I mean, there's so many. It'd be hard to just like pick one. I think my earliest memory, just like when I came online, was due to sound. Like I was like, I must have been 3 or 4. I had a neighbor. We both had toy guitars, right? But mine had all the strings on it, and theirs only had like 3. Like it was missing strings, you know, like classic noob, like didn't know how to change their strings, like whatever.
Sure.
But
Take
for
it to
some
Guitar
reason,
Center.
they yeah, like ever heard of it? Some reason they came over with their guitar, and we are both like playing our guitars, and I really loved the sound of their 3-string guitar more so than mine. So I was like trying to like initiate a trade with our parents or whatever. And my mom was like, no, that's like that one is not as great as yours is. Like we're not trading. Which I now in retrospect, I'm like, why didn't we just take off some strings? But you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's
But
that
yeah,
could have been solved, but yeah.
I just remember hearing that and being like, that one sounds so much cooler than mine. And it was now like as an adult, I'm able to be like, well, there was probably like, because there were less notes, there was more like of a like recognition of actual sound instead of just like tons of strings. And I was probably like, oh, that's cool. But you know, I didn't know that then. I was just like 3 strings, I want it.
Right.
But yeah, that's like one of those things where it's like I don't remember being 3 or 4 or 5 or anything. You know, most people remember like when they get hurt or something like that, which I can do that too. But other than that, it's like, yeah, music, sounds, things like that I can really remember.
It sounds like you should have been like on Pawn Stars or something, an auctioneer, because you're kind of trying to broker deals early
Yeah.
on. And I don't think it's really music. I think that the trade should have been, hey, let me get into the pawn shop business or something, or be avid on Craigslist selling stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally. I love that's what you got from that story.
Yeah,
Like, oh, yeah, like music's fine, but like you sound like a really good like salesman. You should you should have watered that seed.
We're too far deep into the music at this point. I'm just saying, in another life. No, I'm trying to stray away from music. Yeah, man. I'm just trying to get people to do other things in life. So
I don't even listen to music.
no,
For real.
Yeah,
it's bad for you.
I like to sit in silence and think about what I would ask people.
Can you sit in silence? Are you one of those guys who can like shut off their yappy brain?
I gotta be in the right place at the right time. But like if I'm falling asleep, the TV's on, I'm watching something and it's late at night. So there is sound a lot.
You're a TV on kind of guy.
Definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely when I'm going to bed, I'm watching something if it's on. I'm not complete silence. But
Golden
there's
Girls just blasting.
sure TV land on.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you for being
Hey,
a
I'm making
friend when I'm falling asleep. Like, all right, there we go. This is what I got to be watching right now. So everyone has their rituals.
Yeah.
Mine has to be Golden Girls at 3:30 a.m. on the dot.
I have to be naked and screaming,
Right.
and then I'm at peace.
And I go, okay, it's time to wind down. My body naturally knows at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah, it's time. Hey, we're kind of we're winding down for the. So then by 5:30, I'm resting my head at that point. Now getting back to Indiana, you're living in Indiana at this point. I mean, you're making music in Kentucky as well, correct? That's
Yeah.
where you kind of got into it. I'm assuming living at the punk house.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what drove you to Indiana from the punk house? If that was the last place that you lived before.
It was.
Cool.
So the punk house situation in Lexington was this dude, his name was Anthony. He was like a big, kind of like a big brother to me in a way, because he was like, he was in his 30s. He saw what I was going through at home, and he was like, hey man, you're almost 18, like you can just move out of your parents' house. Like you don't have to put up with this anymore. And I met him because I was going to these like DIY punk shows. I would drive to Lexington and go see these shows. And then eventually I was like, oh, I think I could maybe play at one of these or whatever. So I started playing at this DIY space called Chaosum that Anthony ran. And then when I moved out, he was like, yeah, you can move into this. It's basically the new Chaosum. Like I lost this space, but I'm turning my house into like a DIY, like punk venue slash house where everyone can live, and you and your girlfriend can come live. So we lived there for a while, and we were doing shows like every other week. And it was honestly like such a like one of the best times of my life, of just like constantly being surrounded by artists and music, and like the ethics behind everything, like like dumpster diving. I joke about it, but like like there was a lot of merit to it. Like they are like throwing out, you just kind of opened my eyes to like new experiences about like other ways to live, I guess. So then anyway, this guy Anthony, his whole thing was like he was super punk, and he would like shoplift and then sell everything he was shoplifting on Amazon at the time. I think Amazon, maybe eBay, inept. And
Either way, it's getting sold
he's
via the
selling it,
internet.
and then what he's doing with the money, he had a record label, and he was using the money, he was stealing the thing, selling it, and using that money to put out DIY music, which was awesome. And he did that for me, he did that for a bunch of my friends. I definitely like had to help him shoplift. That was part of the game. But like
Allegedly.
allegedly, yeah, for sure. So then eventually he, like Lexington, where we were, that's where the punk house was. We started kind of just like started getting really like the same thing, it was just like kind of boring. And there was this similar scene happening in Bloomington, Indiana, with this other label, DIY label, and these other friends and everything that this Anthony guy had. And he's like, hey, I think I'm gonna move to Bloomington, and you and Tesla, my girlfriend at the time, you guys should come with. And I was like, great, like let's plan a trip. We'll go out there, we'll see what how we like it. And we went to Bloomington, we met all his friends, and it was just like utopia. Like at the time, that's what it felt like. Like everyone was just doing what they love to do, playing music. Like everyone had their own house and their own like DIY house venue, and it was just a show every night. It was like this really cool thing, rather than Lexington, which like was just like Anthony was the only thing really happening that was like that in our world. There was like a big metal scene and stuff like that I wasn't really into so much. So I was like, cool, yeah, we'll move to Bloomington. And so my girlfriend and I ended up moving there before he did, as kind of a way to like set up base, like I'll get a job out there, I'll get a place, and we'll, then you can come later. And around that time, he learned that he had cancer, and it was like stage 3 or stage 4. Like it was already really bad because he had gone to the doctor for this like lump after like a car accident, and the doctor was just like just kind of brushed it off, like, no, you were in an accident, it's fine, like there's nothing to worry about. So he never got it really looked into. But we went on a tour, and I could tell like his back and his waist was like really bothering him. So anyway, so he found out he had cancer, so he never moved to Bloomington. But he introduced me to all of his friends. Like the guy that I ended up living next to was a good friend of his, Pete, who was also doing like a DIY label called Let's Pretend Records. So I lived around Pete, and I started, kind of like, it was like almost like what Anthony was doing in Lexington, this guy Pete was doing in Bloomington. And so I met Pete through Anthony. Anthony passed away, and then in Bloomington I had this new kind of community that Anthony had kind of passed on to me, which was really nice. And so that's kind of how I met everyone I met in Indiana. I met them through the music scene that I was a part of with Let's Pretend Records.
Wow. Wow, man. Phew.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I love Anthony so much. So he's just like, it's kind of, he's always popping up like throughout my entire life. There's always some kind of sign or something where he
Correlation between
yeah.
you two.
Yeah,
Wow, man. That's wild.
totally.
What's the kind of year that we're looking at here, roughly?
Come on, man.
No, yeah.
Josh.
No. Yeah, okay, yeah. We'll have Josh look at this, and I'll edit
He
him
would
in.
actually know. I think I met Josh in 2012. I think I moved to Bloomington around then, about that time. So I was like 20, I want to say, or 19 or 20.
Okay. Fresh out of high school.
Yeah. Yeah, I only lived in Lexington for like a year and a half out of high school, and then I moved to Bloomington.
Now, I mean, obviously there was more stuff going on over there, just in general, than in Indiana than Lexington. And this is Bloomington, correct?
Yeah, Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah.
You
Yeah, a
you
lot
said
more.
you're getting a house out there, renting a house?
It was like an apartment. It was like a 2-bedroom apartment. But
Dang.
I've always kept. I grew up, with a day job. Like when I was 16, I had a day job. So I've always gotten jobs. And so like as soon as I moved to Bloomington, I got a job at Kroger. That was my jam back then.
Kroger,
So, yeah.
yeah.
Which was nice because then there was the dumpster diving days were over for the most part.
What was the worst little job like that you had?
Oh my. Worst. Oh,
Worst.
I worked. Oh, for sure. When I moved to LA, I worked at a Subway that was on Sunset in Hollywood, like the worst location ever. And I worked the graveyard shift. And I mean, there's so many horror stories. Part of my job was to like the homeless people would come in at night and like sleep in the restaurant, and like for the most part, like, great, like y'all need shelter, it's cold out there. But then at a certain hour, it was my job to tell them they had to go somewhere else, and that was like so heartbreaking, and also like dangerous. Like they would like throw shit and like get really upset. So that was weird and wacky. And and
This is
then
my zany work experiences.
the best part is when I quit, someone said, "Oh yeah, so you must have heard about the the gunman. And I was like, huh? No, I didn't hear about a gunman. I'm just quitting. What are you talking about? They're like, oh yeah, everyone just quit. Like we got held up last week. And so everyone quit. I was like, tight. Glad I was
Jump
privy to
ship.
that.
Yeah. Do you think if would that have been the final straw if it wasn't already in motion to leave that place? Like if you heard about the gunman scenario, do you think that would have been
Oh,
it?
sure.
Okay.
What about, I mean, wouldn't you?
I don't know, man. Like if it was happening on a non-graveyard shift that I wasn't working, I don't know. I'd be like, that's like a daytime thing, you know? If it was a daytime thing. If it could be avoided. If I felt like it
Right.
was a one time, but it's all circumstantial. If I felt like that's just a one time thing, then
No,
maybe.
it was dangerous. Like it was just a dangerous environment to be in general.
Yeah, it's in it.
It's
Yeah,
also
it's
really
not
like
great.
disgusting. It was just like at one point my job was to go through all the produce and see what like still looked like it hadn't
Edible,
expired and change the expiration date for a couple days.
dirty practices at Subway.
Subway, don't eat there ever. It's awful.
Do you remember Quiznos? Do you remember that
Yeah.
place? Yeah, that's not around anymore. I don't feel like it is. I never hear anybody eating them.
Oh, look at your kitty. It's a little
Yeah,
cat ass.
he came down and he was brushing up against the chair. I kind of don't like him being in here during these podcasts because there's a little lever on this chair that I'm sitting on, and he'll rub against it, and it'll like make a little like a reverb kind of sound in the mic, and I don't like it. It'll pick it up, but
Uh-huh.
luckily he didn't do it this time, and I'm stoked on it. So
Good kitty.
he's just hanging out right now. But
What's his name?
Nigel,
Nigel. After the song, what's
he's of British descent, so
oh, nice.
yeah. We did 24 in him. It's the difference between 23 and me, 24 and him. And yeah, this
I
is what I
love
came
it.
up with. Welsh
Yeah.
in his bloodline. Yeah, pretty good. But yeah, going back to the Quiznos. I don't hear anybody talking about Quiznos. I think there's one Quiznos I see down there in LA, and I can't remember where exactly it is, but I go fucking Quiznos. Like, no, they were competing at least with
You think?
Subway. Yeah, at a certain point. Yeah, I remember they had a strong ad campaign
They
in
did.
marketing.
That was what I remember the most.
Yeah, Quiznos kind of fell off the map. So that was the worst one though, was Subway.
They were, yeah. I don't actually think I ever ate at Quiznos. I think I just really like their commercials.
It stuck with you.
It did.
That's just the mark of a good ad campaign. Burger King's coming back with some people are talking about Burger King now. People talk mad shit on Burger King.
Well, I love Burger King
I
because
love
they
Burger
have
King as well.
impossible burgers. I'm vegetarian and on tour, like Burger King is my savior.
Is it because I'm not honestly, I don't really get burgers from fast food places. I'm more of a chicken guy.
No,
But
he's a vegan.
yeah, I'm a what is that? What is that thing? Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
A poultry guy.
Poultry dish. That's what it is. A
Poultry.
poultry dish. The chicken fries are really good, but people talk mad shit on Burger King. But for your lifestyle, is it the best kind of thing to get? Is it the go-to place if you find one, Impossible Burger?
I mean, middle America, like it's your best bet as a vegetarian to find any source of food outside of French fries.
Right. And were you getting down with Burger King back in Kentucky when your girlfriend was working there? Would she hook it up with Burger King?
No, we were both vegetarian at the time, so it was just a job for her.
And
We
there
weren't
was
really
no Impossible Burger back then. This is a
didn't
recent
have it.
thing.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you think that you guys would be just eating them every day if it was there at the
Like
time?
if we weren't vegetarian.
No,
Oh,
no,
if they had the Impossible Burgers. Oh my God, yeah.
all right.
Yeah. I'd be a different human altogether.
Have it your way, man. That's the BK way.
I mean, now I do have it my way, and I love it.
Good for you, man.
I want it that much. So you're a Burger King guy? That's your
Yeah.
is it strictly the chicken fries that do it for you?
Chicken fries, the regular fries are pretty good. Lemonade's pretty good.
Lemonade, huh?
The lemonade. Do you get down with lemonade or no?
Not generally. I mean, I like it.
But yeah, that's not in the common current rotation for beverages in
No,
your life.
not at the moment.
What's the top 3 beverages right now? What are you drinking most?
Oh my God, I'm mainlining yerba mate.
It's big.
It's good.
Yerba mate is big.
Yerba
Definitely.
mate, yeah. That stuff's awesome. I wish they had it as a kid. So growing up, I was like a Mountain Dew fiend. Like my family, that's Kentucky. Like Mountain Dew is.
Is it big within the state? I feel like Dr. Pepper would also have a pretty big effect in that around
Yeah,
that.
Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
he didn't get his doctorate. He was like, you know,
Still
he's
respectable.
the poor man's
Still,
Dr.
hey,
Pepper.
respectable beverage.
Mr. Pibb?
Yes.
Oh, for sure. Good stuff.
Yeah. No shame in Mr. Pibb around here. Mr. Pibb's a fine man. I've known him for a couple of years now.
Yeah, good guy. Give you the shirt off his back.
Yeah. Good guy, working class guy.
Yeah.
Just nice dude.
I don't have to go to school to be like a genuine human being, you know?
No.
That's what Mr. Pibb kind of shows the world.
Yeah. And that Shasta shit, that's a forgotten child that was neglected.
But that's something I've never dabbled in.
Shasta.
I've never shasted.
What about Fago?
Fago is purely aesthetic, you know? It's like when you're in Detroit and you're just like, I gotta do some Detroit shit.
Sure. Get down. ICP style. Yeah.
But because of my Mountain Dew addiction, I don't drink soda anymore because it just like it rocked my teeth, it rocked my brain. Yeah.
That mixed with the weed was not a good combo either.
Oh, it was a great combo.
Yeah, I haven't done soda in some time now. So
Nice.
I've been out of the game myself. That's why I transferred to lemonade. That's why
Nice.
I know which lemonade is good and bad and why. So
Burger King's got it.
Burger King's pretty good. Yeah. Carl's Jr. just started doing a frozen lemonade. I like that.
Get down with that. Carl's Jr. is Hardee's. I grew up with Hardee's. Hardee's are tight, but I haven't really. I don't like eat Carl's Jr.
It's fine.
That's
What about
just
green? You get down with green burrito?
what?
That's the commonality between the Hardee's and the Carl's Jr. is the green burrito, which is always there.
I don't think that was a thing back in the day.
It is now. So get it.
So yeah. So
get on it. Features now, Dylan.
Green
chat.
burrito.
Chat.
GHP.
GHB. All right. So you're in Indiana. You're making
LA right now.
I mean, we're stepping back. At one time, let me rephrase that. At one time in 2012-ish, you were in Indiana, Bloomington, being a vegetarian, getting into the music scene. And where was it that you were working at the time? You got a job at the
Kroger.
At the Kroger,
which is like your Vons.
Yeah, I know. All right, dude. I know what a Kroger is, dude.
You never know. I should have said, have you heard of it? Kroger?
Yeah. You should hit me with that. There's one I haven't been to out here. Gelson's. That's like your neck of the woods.
Yes.
Never been to a Gelson's.
Never been to a Gelson's.
Never?
No, that's not true. I've been to one, but I didn't go to them in the state that we're currently in our minds.
Residing.
Yeah.
In our brains.
Indiana,
sure.
No Gelson's out there. Just Kroger's.
Just Kroger's. There's nothing else. There's nobody else competing. No.
Walmart, Kmart.
Remember Circle K? That was a big thing.
Dude, yeah. I had points out the yang.
Blue check mark sale.
And do you have Speedway?
No, but I know what you're referring to. I was just in the South recently.
Nice.
And I think
what are you doing in the South?
I was just hanging out, man.
Chilling with my Southern homies.
Just hanging out, man. No, I went to Mardi Gras. So
You
I
did.
went to Mardi Gras, and then I went to
I
Alabama and a little bit of Mississippi. It took a little detour to go
That's a great trip.
hadn't been in the South for a bit, and that's the furthest south I've been. Been to Texas a few times, but outside of that, I hadn't been too far south. It was nice.
New Orleans is one of my favorite places. And
Why?
Mardi Gras is, I went when I was like 7. So anytime someone says Mardi Gras, I just like go back to the first time I saw boobies and other happenings.
How about the freaking Saint Thomas's Cathedral? St. Thomas's Cathedral? What is
Oh,
that?
is that the one with the shadow? The awesome, like it's got the like Jesus statue in the front and then it casts a shadow.
Right, but that's like the oldest church in America.
I didn't
It's
know
put
that.
up by like the French before we even before the Louisiana Purchase even happened.
That is so cool. I didn't know that. Is that in the French Quarter?
Yeah, it
We are
is.
talking about the same place, I think.
We are talking about the same place, Louisiana. Yeah,
Well, the church, specifically the same church.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
yeah, because it's yeah, and it's like it is casting a large shadow. There's a light in front of it.
Dude, have you seen that show, Your Honor?
No, what is it on?
Are you a series guy?
I
See,
yeah, I just finished The Wire yesterday, so
oh, I hear that's amazing.
mm,
No?
for my money,
It ended?
it's a bit overrated. It's a bit
Okay.
overrated. I'm just gonna say that now. It was my favorite show. So yeah, but nevertheless, okay. All right. What is it on Netflix? It sounds like
It's on, I think it's on HBO.
okay.
It's great. Bryan Cranston, murdering it. Um, yeah, it's got kind of a similar like arc as Breaking Bad in a way because it's like a guy who's, an upholding citizen who kind of becomes more of a criminal or a darker character.
We should have said spoiler alert before we said that, but
I think that's pretty obvious by the tone.
I haven't seen it. Thought it was a comedy. Is it?
It's got funny bits for sure.
Couldn't get into Breaking Bad. Honestly, sorry, couldn't get into it. I know it appalls people. Sorry, controversial take.
Couldn't get into it.
Couldn't get into it.
So you didn't watch it.
I watched a bit of it, and I remember watching the series finale when it was on television airing.
No wonder you couldn't get into it. You knew how it ended.
I forgot that was years ago. That was on AMC, man.
In my opinion, it's one of the most poetic endings of television.
That's a bold statement.
I haven't seen all of television, so you're right. It is a bold statement. I tend to make those.
Right. It was a decree, borderline a decree. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Your Honor with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. I brought it up because it takes place in New Orleans, and that church is heavily featured in the show.
You know what else is in New Orleans? The headquarters for Folgers Coffee.
That's the best part of waking up. Right there.
It's Starbucks. Or it was something like that. I forget the ad campaign.
That's rad. Recently, when we were in New Orleans, I realized that they have cars where people just drive around and sell you weed. I don't know if that's like every city has that, or
I don't think I've ever seen that before. But
maybe that's just like where I was.
But maybe they knew that like this guy's a square. He's not gonna want this shit. So that's why I wasn't offered it when I was there. Probably.
You think you give off like a square vibe?
Maybe. Yeah.
When I look at you, I'm like, this guy tokes.
For all you listening at home, that's not me. I don't do that shit. I'm not a doper.
I'm not a doper.
No, to each its own. New Orleans was cool.
Nice.
Drank some absinthe for the first time. That was cool.
Was it delicious?
It was expensive. That's what it was.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, and I'm not a fan of black licorice, like the taste, but that's what it tasted like. I know, sounds gross, but not bad.
So is what's the Jaeger,
Grenadine. Oh yeah.
Jägermeister? That's got a very licoricey flavor to it. You
I
ever
don't
fuck
think.
with that shit?
No, I don't think I've ever had it because everybody's always like, "Oh, it fucking sucks." So I never had it. You know.
I mean, it sucks unless you just want to get turned. Also, our well, Nick, my buddy Nick, you've talked to him before. That guy once I saw him mix coffee with Jägermeister.
That's rad.
Yeah, I was like, you're insane. Well, he's like, I love this about him, is like every morning on tour, he's just like mixing different beverages. He's like a I don't know, a scientist in that way. He's just always making potions. But this particular potion really got to me. I was like, coffee and Jaeger, are you out of your damn mind? And then like whatever, a week later, we were in Vancouver at this club and they had coffee Jaeger on tap. And I
He
was
was
like,
onto something. He was.
I guess you know what you're doing.
He knows. He's a young buck. He's on the up and up. He's on the ball. He knows
He
what's going
is.
on.
He is. Once again, I've been proven wrong. That
Just bamboozled, dude.
yeah, bamboozled for sure. He's yeah, he's a young whippersnapper. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on it. He's yeah. Pedro's finest. Obviously,
Call him the mayor of Long Beach for sure.
Mayor
I
of
mean,
Long Beach.
from Pedro, but like the first time he showed, because he works in Long Beach and like has a lot of he has two places he works in Long Beach. He works at a venue and a record shop.
He's a busy guy and he's a hardworking man.
He is.
Yeah.
So the first time we go to Long Beach with him, he's like, you know, I want to give you the tour. I want to show you around. And it's literally like walking around with like a celebrity. Like everyone just came up to him, yo Nick. And we're like, at one point, like it happened so many times, we're like, this is kind of crazy, right? Like everyone knows him. And then like a car drove by and two dudes had their head out the window, like, Nick. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
obviously he knows what
he
the
is.
fuck goes together potion wise. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he knows his drinks. He knows his potions.
Yeah.
Way to bring it back. I don't remember where we started with potions. New
Jaeger,
Orleans.
coffee. New Orleans, and then
Oh,
kind of
absinthe.
Oh, absinthe. Yeah.
Absinthe.
It was good. It was better than I expected it to be. Let's just say that.
Nice.
I don't think that me and hurricanes go together. I drank it 3 times at the whatever it's called, that place that originated it. Allegedly, I don't have the stats on that to prove that or not. I don't have the paperwork. Regardless, I had it 3 times and my back was killing me after I drank it. And so I was like, is it me? Because
like
everything else
fluid? Just
I
like
don't know.
drains your spinal fluid.
Possibly.
Like
Maybe it's replacing it. Maybe it's mixing together.
It's like a Cronenbergian kind of beverage where like your inner skeleton becomes like a mush for
Possibly.
a couple hours.
I wouldn't go against that. Maybe, possibly. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physician at all.
I thought you said earlier that you.
Okay, all right. Well, I went to snhu.edu. I printed out the certificate early, so
you can just print it out. You don't have to do like school stuff. You just go to, what was that domain? Is that an acronym?
Yeah, Southern New Hampshire University.
Southern New Hampshire University.
Online.
Is that actually where you went to college?
No, I went to community college.
I thought it was strange that you just New Hampshire, that just came out of you.
No, that's snhu.edu. That's it's like DeVry, you know, or it's just like a household name at this point.
College, come on.
University of Phoenix, the rival.
Is that where David Spade went to school?
He is from Arizona. I know that, but I don't think, maybe, I don't know.
Either. I didn't do my research, that's for sure.
No. There's gonna be a lot of disclaimers at the bottom of this video, but that's fine.
Yeah. Well, getting back to absinthe.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm on a crazy absinthe like goose chase. When we were in the Czech Republic on tour, and someone was like, the Czech Republic is the spot to get. We were in Prague, which is supposed to be like the absinthe world. Like you can get the real deal, that shit with that wormwood. And we're like, that's what we want to do. We want to go on a ferry journey. And they were like, okay, you go to this, we're doing our research, aka like Google. We're Googling where to get the good absinthe, because no one's ever done that. And they're like, okay, you go to this bar, it's in this alley, it's kind of hard to find. You go to the door, and it's like one of those, like, oh, you say the right thing, and then they take you into a bar and they got the stuff. So like 3 hours later, after like traversing all the alleys and never finding any of the things that were described, we found like a door that led to, like, it felt like a dungeon or something, and we're like, this has to be the spot, like this sounds like what they were describing. And we go in there, and there's a bar, and we're like, okay, great, and we say the magic word, and they just look at us like, what are you doing? Like,
that was last week's word.
Absinthe? They're like, yeah, everyone has absinthe. We're like, no, but like absinthe,
the wormwood,
that one,
the WW, the AW,
and they didn't have it, and we didn't bother to try the non-real deal.
Mission
Just didn't do it. We were like, all right, fine, it's over.
Back to drinking whatever.
Tequila
Tequila.
At the like
Prague, known for their tequila.
Yeah.
Known for it.
So cultured. Oh, we were in the most like touristy bar. Like they literally gave you like it was like you're at like an arcade. Like they give you like a little thing you scan, because they're so tired of like tourists like trying to like sort through the coins to figure out like what money is. So they just make you pay in advance and give you this little thing, and you scan it. And I was like, we're tourists for sure.
Are you good at that? Are you good at deciphering how much something is while in a different country?
No.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Dressing up nice. Do you think that should come back into style? People dressing up for like flights and whatnot.
Dressing up. What was the word you said? Flights.
Dressing up nice for flights.
I almost thought you said fights. I was like, that would be interesting for sure.
That would be interesting. You ever fought a guy who was dressed in a suit?
You know what? I picked a fight with someone because they had a cowboy hat, which in my neck of the woods is actually considered a formal attire. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll take that. That's technicality. Yeah. That's technicality.
So that happened.
Did you win the fight?
No, got my ass kicked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you?
Right to the eye. I had a black eye. It was awesome.
Nice.
I deserved it.
How do you feel about when you see people like full, not bolo tie, straight up necktie, dress nice, nice suit, everything, nice dress, shoes, cowboy hat? Does that throw you off?
Still does.
That's like wearing a fucking beanie with a. Well,
it's not. I mean, it's not. It is formal attire. It throws me off because I like to think of my cowboys as like rough and rugged, on the ranch.
Wearing Levi's.
Sure. Wearing Levi's, and they're dirty. They're dirty because they've been in the stables, brushing the horses and stepping in manure, all that good stuff,
Sure.
However, I know that in that world, you've got your like out on the range hat, and then you also have your like
your taking off hat,
your nice tux hat, your formal attire.
How many cowboy hats have you owned?
Oh man, at least 500. No, I don't have any. You have a sombrero.
Yeah, I do have a sombrero. Yeah.
Which is like a cowboy hat.
It's like a cowboy hat. Yeah, same. I need to get one of those tri-corner hats. Like colony time. Like when the 13 colonies were around, the tri-corner hat. Yeah, and then just rock that.
Yeah, you'd look good in that for sure.
appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start switching it up. I'm gonna start just being just colonial era clothing, like nice boots and like the fluffy shirt. You ever watch Seinfeld? You know what I'm talking about, the fluffy shirt with the
Of
ripples.
course. The roughs. Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Fashion is cyclical, and you're just going to be ahead of the game.
Sure, ahead and behind, both at the same time.
That's what it is. I mean, new metal's back. Figure that one out.
About time. Yeah, Limp Bizkit's coming back on the podcast. Coming back on the podcast, Fred Durst.
Oh, nice, dude. Tell him I said I did it all for the Nookie.
Are you down with the sickness though?
Tell him that. Oh,
I don't know who that is, but I love
Disturbed.
I love that song. That's a good one.
Great song.
Are you aware of the song Dragula by Rob Zombie?
Oh, dude. Don't get me started on Rob Zombie. Is that Dead I Am the One?
Yeah.
Is that one?
Yeah, that's that one.
That's good stuff.
I like to play that in bars as many times as possible.
Like on the or not a karaoke, but like on the
touch tunes. On that touch, I like to touch those tunes. Yeah. And I'll just see how many times I can play it. And then I'll be like, who the fuck's playing this again? And then they'll be like, you again? I was like, not me, dude. This is a popular song. No.
Over and over and over.
That one or Fela Kuti Zombie.
Great song. That's a long song.
It's a long song. It's a 2-credit song, 13 minutes. People are over it.
Yeah.
People are real done with it. They're like, fucking still?
I like to think that you're not in a bar in LA or OC. You're in like the middle of nowhere. Like at a cowboy, bringing it back to a cowboy bar, and you're just over there playing zombie, oh zombie, and you're doing this too.
I played it when I was drinking absinthe. I put it on the touch tunes.
That's good absinthe tunes, though.
Good absinthe drinking music.
Yeah.
But there's beer drinking music and there's absinthe drinking music, and that's what that is.
Dude, you know what's funny is like, because music is like such a it's an energy of like the moment you're in or whatever. I firmly believe that like any song, again, just bold statement here, but like every song has a time and a place.
Every single song that's been written.
Every single song that's been written.
Right.
Like I'm not this is the example I always give, because this is a thing that I'm trying to spread the word. I'm trying to spread the gospel, but like Dropkick Murphys, right? Like need I say more?
They had their time recently, very recently from this recording. Sure. No, please continue with your.
I mean, well, like when isn't a good time to listen to Dropkick Murphys?
Okay, I thought you were gonna say there's a specific time, and I feel like I would know when that time would be.
Which would be what?
Either the day before or after when the Shamrock Shake comes into McDonald's, whenever that is. That's when you're supposed to be playing Dropkick Murphys. I listened to Dropkick Murphys on St. Patrick's Day. I did. Yeah.
The time and place.
The time and place, yeah.
You can do that with almost any song.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe every song. Let's just say every. It's easier.
Yeah. Chop the maybe. It's less words. Easier to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
People appreciate that when
it's
full generalization of everything.
Easy.
Gets the job done.
Mm-hmm. Just like
I had to think about it, like nuance. No thanks. Black and white. That's my.
Why read between the lines when it's just there's nothing there? On to the next sentence. Sentence.
It's called a space, which is negative, which is like nothing.
Yeah, you don't want that. Were you good at writing essays? Speaking of spacing, were you good at writing essays as a youth in high school?
I did well in English. Everything else I did really poorly. Art and English were my jams.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not great at grammatical stuff. Clearly, that's probably a weird sentence.
No, that's grammatically correct. That's
grammatically. I'm not great. I don't do grammatical good. you
Yeah,
know.
that's just lexicon, not
Lex-
Lexington, lexicon. Yeah.
oh, Lexicon, Kentucky is where I learned that that's not where I excel. But I did pretty good at the creative stuff, like coming up with the stories and all that. But so I think that's why I did well in English. I don't think it had anything to do with my spelling or my spaces. That's it.
Are you
That's
are
all it
you
is.
are you ready for a good transition
Oh yeah.
to an actual question?
Yeah, dude.
Uh, do you feel like you're trying to tell stories within the music that you're making now? Do you feel like you're still using those muscles?
Yeah, for sure. That is a great question. What is this, an interview?
It was supposed to be, but it did. Yeah, it's just trying to hang out sesh. So
I thought it was a conversation. Um, yeah, no, for sure. I'm like nothing linear. It's really hard for me to do linear songwriting. I really appreciate it, like when it happens, and yeah, I just can't do it. Probably because of the way my brain works. It's not very linear. Just jumping around.
smoke session to smoke session. Right.
Not anymore, baby.
No. Straight
I'm
edge.
off the grass.
Straight edge.
This thing used to be filled with weed, and now
The-
it's just it's just empty.
Is it plastic?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's my second cousin. He didn't make it.
No,
RIP.
that's what happens with taxidermy.
Yeah, the yellow thing, he smoked a lot of tobacco, so
See,
what
kids,
happens. They
it
don't
does have
know.
an effect.
Your
You think
teeth?
vaping's fucking cool now?
Yeah, that's
Were you
tar.
were
Tar's
you
the skull.
were you a smoker?
And a midnight. No. I did smoke cigarettes, but it was like purely because everyone around me smoked cigarettes. Like Kentucky, just everyone is smoking inside. There's many places where you can still smoke inside. Or maybe you can't, but they don't give a fuck. Like smoking is very prevalent. So yeah, I used to steal cigarettes from my mom. And then one time my dad, because my parents are divorced or whatever. So like this was a separate occasion, but my dad found my cigarettes that I had been smoking, which were the brand that my mom smoked, and he was like, "If you're gonna smoke cigarettes, you need to smoke real cigarettes, like
Was she
Marlboro
smoking like?
Lights
Oh,
are for children." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a child."
Dylan, I do have another question for you here.
Okay.
What do you want people to take away from the music that you make?
I like I like the musical experience. Like personally, I like the musical experience that I have with music. So I guess I just want people to have a similar experience. Like I don't know. I just want it to resonate, however it resonates. I guess that's a pretty vague answer, but
No, but it's
a
open
real
ended, and you want it to be open ended.
maniacal. I want you to think about your parents and why you are the way you are. I just say shit that I like, and then I hope people like it too.
I,
And
I
same with everyone else in the band. I think they're on that same journey. I speak for them.
mhm.
My
Your
band. They're
head
my
on
band. No.
head honcho around here, but then I mean, if you go to LB, yeah, good luck, man. Nick is the mayor.
It's so true. It really is. He embodies everything I wish. Like I'm such a introverted human that when I'm around him, I'm just like, how do you do this? Like
What is
he's
teach me
always
your
on.
ways? Yeah, it's I just theory right now.
Yeah.
No, this is not based in fact at all. Maybe it's the potions. He has them powers.
Oh shoot. That makes sense.
Working
That
on the
makes
theory. It's
good
a
sense.
hypothesis. Educated guess.
Your dissertation.
Well, yeah, one of them that I'm working on. What you can't. It's like how people like read multiple books at the same time, and work on different dissertations at the same time. Yeah.
Kind of like you need a break from one thing, so you go to the other thing.
Well, it's like if I get working on one, it's gonna make me think about another one, and then I'm bouncing back and forth.
You ever
I
do
know,
that with podcasts? Like,
like listening to him.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause you have to edit. You have to edit, right?
yeah,
All
yeah,
the swears.
yeah,
Those are gonna be like car horns.
yeah. Something cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I keep well. That's not the difficult part. The difficult part is getting the recordings of the car horns. That's the difficulty.
So you have a really great microphone, and I'm realizing like, man, I should have brought a better mic. Like, how is
It
I
sounds great.
just got this laptop. It's okay.
It sounds great. Yeah, this is a new laptop. This is like one of the first spins on it. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
it sounds really good.
Awesome. Well, your mic sounds really good.
Thank you. I
Get the
put it like this
subtlety
when
of
it's
your sultry timbre, you know?
yeah. I'm like Clint Eastwood and play Misty for me. You know, you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
Good
But
one.
just Clint Eastwood made me smile because he's the G.
Clint Eastwood's the man. Yeah. Play Misty for me. It's on Netflix. Watch it. Jessica Walters is in it as well.
I don't know who that is good.
Just yeah, you do. Arrested Development. You ever seen that?
Yeah, she the mom?
She's the mom.
I love the mom.
Bingo. Yeah,
I mean,
I know you love Jessica Walters.
I'm in.
You're in. Dylan, thank you so much for coming on, sir. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jacob.
This is a bit serious one.
Oh no.
I don't usually get that serious on here, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But sometimes it calls for it.
I think that this was a delight.
I would say it's an absolute delight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I do get nervous to do these things, like interviews and chats and stuff. And I was telling the guys and Nikki, I was like, Jacob hit me up because I knew they did. Well, Josh and Nick did one, and they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be so chill. He's really funny."
Yeah, put that as a promo. I'm just gonna cut that. I'm gonna clip it and I'm gonna send it out to everybody that I need on the podcast.
Well, in there.
That's a personal endorsement. But Dylan, before we let you go here, I got some promo to do. Frankie and the Witch Fingers music streaming everywhere. Wherever you get your music, that's where you can listen to them. Albums out on Greenway Records, the most recent ones, and some other repressings of the earlier stuff, which is really cool.
Thanks.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, Greenway rules. Harry's the man.
Yeah, he definitely seems like a lot of people speak
He
very
would
highly.
be. Sorry to cut you off, but he would be a fantastic guest. He's got a lot of great stories and interesting things to talk about.
Yeah. I've heard great things about him. And he's great because he's putting out these albums. So go to greenwayrecords.com. Follow Frankie and the Witch Fingers on Instagram, all one thing, no underscores, to stay up to date with news and records and releases and tours and all that fun stuff there. And is there a website or?
Yeah, we have a website. That's the best place to get tickets for shows.
Ooh, what's is it just frankieandthewitchfingers.com?
It is. Nailed it.
There we go. And all that will be linked below. Do we have anything else to promote, Dylan?
We're gonna be at Treefort Music Festival this weekend. If this comes out before, when does this probably be a while?
This
All
is
right.
yeah.
Well, never mind.
That's on Saturday, right? That's when you guys are playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be on Sunday. So shit.
Darn it. Well, yeah. Well, that was good hangs out there at Treefort.
Yeah,
we had fun.
It looked wild from Nick's story that I saw.
Dude, that's pretty much, you could say that about anything.
Nick's story, he captured it all. Dylan,
can we start again?
Yeah, I mean, this is the practice run, so we might add this into the final run. But yeah, this was a good practice run, I'd say.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, Dylan, you're the man. Thank you so much. I'm gonna stop recording this. I'll see you in a second to re-record.
Cool.